How's it going, boys? So, they finally released the patch notes. So we're just gonna read them real quick. It shouldn't take too long, right? Oh, that's pretty short. You see, it's pretty quick. Yeah, it shouldn't take long. Yeah, it's like half a page, chat. It's like half a page, right, guys? Yeah, we're just gonna real quick go over the notes. I didn't actually know that they were gonna do a big patch. I thought they were just doing multiplayer and maybe a little bit of something, but it looks like there's actual changes, so this should be poggies. They made a Last Epoch login. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I was so tempted to read this last night because they dropped these patch notes 15 hours ago. This was just before I went to bed. So I was so keen to read it, but I waited. Are you proud of me? Welcome everyone to the final day of our pre-patch blog post hype week. Over the last year, we've been working on a very large number of improvements for Last Epoch alongside the addition of the multiplayer beta. With all these changes stored up, we have a lot of notes and changes ready for you to look over. From what I understand, this is basically the release of the game. I mean, this is not the release of the game, but this is close. This is very close. Oh god. Okay, alright, we're gonna be for a while. In patch 0.9, you'll finally be able to play Last Epoch online. You'll be able to create online characters and party with up to 3 friends as you play through all of the game's content. Partying. To play with a friend, simply add them to your friends list, invite them to party. Poggers. And select portal to player. So they stole the blue button, basically. What should I say? Stole? Utilized. Or inspired by. Loot is instant, so you can see and pick up items that drop only for you, but not for other players. However, if an item drops while you're in the same zone as another player, you can trade it to them at any time. At any time. I thought it was time gated. So it's not time gated? Enemy scaling. Enemies gain additional health. This scaling is more exaggerated in late game. Enemy damage, quantity, and other properties do not change. Okay, so let me think about this. Let's think about this. What does this mean? There's no quantity buff, and there's no damage buff, but there is synergy of builds and the ability to trade loot. So the ability to trade loot is only good if you're playing different builds then, because you're not getting an implicit quantity bonus. You also might get more loot per hour if you gain overall speed and efficiency from playing with somebody whose build is better. More people oh, but it is essentially a, yeah, you're right, it is essentially a multiplier to loot though, because everyone's loot is instance. You're right, because you literally are just getting 4 times more loot. If a piece of equipment or an idol drops while you're in the zone, the item can now be gifted to one of those players. You can gift an eligible item later on, but you need to be on the same server. Yeah, so there is no timer. It's just account tagged. Items received as a gift can be re-gifted later to other valid players. So it's freely tradable then. As long as you're in the same instance, the loot is literally just shareable whenever. But runes, glyphs, shards, and keys cannot be gifted. Crafting does... What? Oh, you can gift an item, craft on that item, and then gift it. Yo! Yo! So if we gear me, and I don't need gear anymore, I can gear other people. Alright, Monolith of Fate. This is like maps, by the way, for those of you who haven't played before. This is like, this would be like the Atlas, or drifting. In multiplayer, the person who selects which echo to load is the host. The echo is a map. Any other players are guests. The echo web, what echoes are available of guests will not match the echo web of the host. However, completing echoes will grant guests timeline stability and access to that timeline on normal difficulty if they don't have access. When the host unlocks a new timeline, guests will also unlock it. So you can't develop your web? So what does this mean? Echoes will grant guests timeline stability. Timeline stability allows you to access a boss. This is especially big because if you're doing a hard echo, the echoes don't deal, so you could potentially have a support to help you get deeper into the echo. So you could potentially do some pretty crazy webs on the host echo, on the host monolith or whatever. But still get access to 4 times the bosses. You're not getting like a penalty for that. Guests will not receive the host echo specific reward when completing an echo. Instead, when they click on the reward wrap, they offered a choice between 2 random echo rewards. Ah. Oh, okay, that's interesting. No target farming, but not shafted, that's fine. Well, you have target farming in the sense that you have 2 choices, which is, you know, it's okay. You know, it's fine. It's because keeping in mind you only have like what 3 options usually when you're spreading out, when you're branching. You have like 2 or 3 options. So this is kind of emulating that by having the options be placed at the end of the echo that the host does instead of actually branching out to go to an echo with that reward. Okay, layout changes. All right, this is big. This is big. So this is not related to multiplayer. This is just new content. There's 7 new maps in the non-empowered version. I guess this is the way of they're removing the really cringe maps from regular monoliths. So they're just making early game better. They're not making anything worse. They're just making early game better, I guess. I mean that's fine, I guess. The rare monster shock chance modifier can only roll in ending the storm. They're making it thematic? Is that what they're doing? So if you really don't like crit, let's say you're like, man, crit is a shit mechanic, I don't like it. You can dodge it. Reduce the one-shot potential of phase 1 while maintaining high importance of avoiding the telegraphed attacks. Last fight was ass. Yeah, I remember the main complaint being that if you didn't have a proper movement skill, it was really fucking hard to do this fight. Because it basically one-shots you, and it's hard to dodge, right? So now I guess it just doesn't one-shot you. I keep skimming over stuff like this. I'm sure it's very cool. But, you know, obviously, you know, it's hard to know what these exactly mean. Combat feel. Yeah, this was the biggest complaint from people. Because I think you can get over graphics not being, like, what you're used to. I mean, I played RuneScape, right? I mean, you know, and I played D2, right? But combat feel, like, I think I heard Quinn complaining about this a lot. Combat feel is a big one. Added when hit and on-death visuals that emit from enemies. For example, bugs will now bleed green blood, void creatures will spew void gunk, and skeletons will lose dust and bones. Yeah, this is very good. Little stuff like this adds up, right? Added a death flash effect. This corresponds to the damage type of the killing damage. For example, an enemy killed by a fireball will appear to have fire spread across them, while an ice barrage will cover the enemy in frost. It's so little and so minor, and it's not even something you think about necessarily. But yeah, it definitely matters. Lots of sound changes, improved how quickly the animate. This is the big one. Holy shit. This is a big one. Like just the animation playing when you use the ability. I mean, that's gotta be a big one. The main problem I have with Last Epoch is that instead of monster HP going up, damage reduction goes up. So the numbers you produce go down and it feels really bad. That's right, that's a thing, right? To prevent people from having infinite damage. Yeah, I mean, that's very bad for SC Giga damage. Obviously, this is not going to be as big of a problem in HC, because you can just get more defense instead of getting more damage. But it's obviously bad in SC. I'm not too worried about this, because I play hardcore, by the way. Every hardcore player needs to tell everybody that they know that they play hardcore, by the way, because this is just how it works. But yeah, in SC, it sounds kind of dog, yeah. Weapon implicits now grant plus melee damage or plus bow damage rather than plus melee physical or plus bow physical. This works the same as adaptive spell damage. Oh wow. Yeah, that's big. Grace period. Oh, this is nice. Oh my fucking god. Dude, you have chat. There are multiple clips of streamers playing this game and dying in grace period because it was really short. Yeah, this was super needed. There's now a grace period where enemies will not target you or move towards you. Grace periods were previously only granted after respawning. A buff icon is now shown. Grace periods now end after 15 seconds. A grace period will end if you move after 2 seconds. If 2 damage number events occur within the same 0.02 seconds, the resulting damage window will show the combined damage rather than the later damage. That's actually kind of nice. It's like, it's less clutter then. If you hit like 1 billion times a second, it's less clutter. Increased effect stats for damaging ailments have swapped for penetration with stats. For example, 8% increased ignite effect is now 8% fire penetration with ignite. Is this like a huge buff then? Doesn't this destroy ailments? Oh my god, am I stupid? It's a big nerf. It's just rewording. It's just a... So it's either a massive buff, nothing, or a massive nerf. Interesting. Yep, okay. Understood, chat. Reduce resistance shredding from ailments. Shock and the resistance shred ailments, such as fire resistance shred, now have a stack limit of 10. This caused damage in boss fights to accelerate too much, strongly favored fast-setting builds, and would have been more of a problem in multiplayer. Shock's effect on stun chance has been doubled, so the same effect can be reached at max stacks. So they giga buffed the stun on shock. All effects of increased shock have been removed to manage the power of these ailments. Isn't that a massive nerf to shredding then? Like a giga nerf? Many damaging ailments now have higher DPS but lower duration to lessen the disparity in their effectiveness against bosses compared to clearing packs. They would often die before the ailment's duration expired. This should also mitigate the issue with dop-times sometimes feel like they have to rush ahead of dying packs to be efficient. And that's fine. I'm too I haven't played enough of the game to know some of these things, hey? Like I never played a Frost build. I saw MP play Sorcerer with Giga Freeze. Yeah, it looks like a big nerf to ailments across the board for the most part. Except for maybe, I mean, Ignite looks good. Yeah, when it lasts shorter but deals the same damage, it's a big DPS increase. Crit vulnerability. Now limited to 10 and adds 2%. Crit Vuln got destroyed, yeah. It went from what, 100% to 20, right? Is that right? Holy. Cooldown changes. We want the feel and pace of gameplay to change more over the course of the game, and for items to feel like they play a bigger role in that change. This isn't a goal that's going to be achieved through a single silver bullet, but as part of achieving it, we've decided to increase the availability of stats that impact the gameplay feeling. Increased cooldown and recovery speed is one such stat, but one of the barriers to increasing its availability is the potential for the gameplay to become too zoomy and rapid due to movement skills cooldowns becoming too short. To prevent this from becoming a problem, we've changed traversal skills to not recover during use. Oh! With these changes, if you have no increased cooldown recovery, but full investment from relevant passives and skills, most basic movement skills will be around 0.3 seconds longer, and with the full investments, the cooldown will be around 0.3 seconds shorter. I mean, that does just seem like a nerf to movement. Like, it's now a suffix from a prefix, rolls on boots. So suffix meaning it no longer conflicts with like main stat. It's more about res, right? Which is good because res is like something you can get on other sources like relics and shit. It rolls on boots and helmets, replacing helmets, which is good because helmets had a lot of good stats on them already, right? Now it gives up 20% cooldown recovery from 14 up to 32% at T7. Holy shit. 32 CDR. So you can get 64 CDR in 2 slots now. That's gonna feel so good on some builds. Added a new base type which gives cooldown recovery speed. Some base types also give cooldown recovery speed. So for those of you who don't know, tier 5 is like not that bad to get, but Exalted is not craftable, you have to find it. But an Exalted mod is like giga better. It's like a big increase, and tier 7 is an even big increase. So at tier 5 it's 20, at tier 7 it's 32. So it's like 60% more cooldown, right? It's huge for 2 tiers. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you have full investment up to T7. If the game is like, I mean that's gonna be big. Yeah, T7 cooldown is gonna be huge potentially on some builds. Infectious bones now grants minions inside the area more poison damage from 50% increased. This is a buff. It's a Pee-wee reference chat. Because, you know, it's a very funny Pee-wee reference chat. Haha, very funny. Fix the bug with the area of the healing from absence of life. I don't know what that is. Yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. This is still one class, by the way. Jesus. Some passive changes as well. I mean, yeah, Jesus. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Uniques. Alright, we should be able to comprehend this. The ward gain effect for Ashes of Mortality. Now it's a 2-second cooldown from 1. Is that game breaking? Hang on, Ashes of Mortality. I want to see if it's the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, this is the game breaking one, right? Like there was some crazy OP build with this build, right? With this ring. I don't know I thought they already nerfed it though, but I guess they're nerfing it again. Bastion of Honor now has 100% block chance from enemies within 4 meters. Is Bastion of Honor the big dick one? Ah, it is. Ah, they nerfed it. They nerfed it. No, it's still broken. I mean, it's still functioning the same. It's just that radius is a lot more annoying to play around now, I guess. Added 18 new unique items. Do we know what these are? Or are they gonna be secret? Are they gonna be secret? Some new models for the uniques. We have a lot more models, but they weren't ready. Poggies, affixes. Alrighty. I think that's mostly it, boys. It's just, again, it's just a ton of polishing. It's just an absolute shit ton of polishing. Alright, so patch notes TLDR. I mean, it's hard to tell because I'm not like as much of a Last Epoch Andy as I am a PoE Andy. But from a noob point of view, this reads like, one, they're trying to change the game's meta completely. Like, they're trying to change enough of the game so that it's not clear what's best. Essentially, they wanted to do a big patch for the release, for the multiplayer release, with the intention being that people will jump into the game with a fresher experience. So it's not just multiplayer, it's a lot more than that. And then there's also a bunch of there's also a bunch of polish changes. Best of luck to them, you know, releasing a patch this large all at once with multiplayer. Hopefully it goes okay, so. Alright, anyway. I will pass you boys off. Cheers for hanging out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, chat.